Oh, hello. Welcome to the 2013 Hundie Challenge. Today we're going to be discussing I, Ron Butterfly by Bobby Kennedy. Dee-doo-dee-doo-doo, dee-doo-dee-doo-doo-dee-doo-dee-doo-doo. Dee-doo-dee-doo-doo-dee-doo-dee-doo-doo. Well, this was a depressing book. I start off by saying depressing, but it was actually a really good book, too. I should at least let you know that. I sort of think of this, and I can't remember whether it's on this list or not, because I already read it, so if it is, I would have already taken it off the list for this year, but Grapes of Wrath. I sort of think of Ironweed as the companion piece, sort of the dark evil twin of Grapes of Wrath. Grapes of Wrath had kind of this mythic, it lent kind of this positive, mythic feeling to the Okies and their plight, and look at these people and look how hard their lives are and all this kind of stuff. Ironweed is kind of the opposite. It's set during the same time frame. I mean, it has flashbacks, but it's primarily during the Depression, and it's about hobos. I don't know if that's... I think they certainly do call themselves hobos at one point or another. They're homeless. They're bums. They're what do they call it? They're on the bum. That's what they call it. And some of the stuff that would be glossed over, would be lionized in the hobo culture. Kennedy just takes a torch to it and just brings it out into the light of day. There's whole chapters about the sex games that hobos play, and you're constantly either raping or being raped. They end up the main character, Francis, just kind of through a series of stupid mistakes, they end up with no place to stay for the night, and he's not willing to let his common law wife, Helen, I don't know exactly how you would describe their relationship. It's complicated. That's what the book is about. But he doesn't want her to sleep in the weeds with him. The weeds are also a metaphor. They are the hobos, the bums. They're the iron weeds. They're the weeds of society. But obviously they stand up strong like the iron weed. But he goes and he sleeps in the iron weeds. That's also a recurring motif. Like when he has nothing else to do, nowhere else to go, he sleeps in the weeds. So one night he's going to sleep in the weeds, but he doesn't want his paramour, let's say, Helen, to end up like that. So he sticks her in this broken down car with one of the hobos that they know, and he sort of in the back of his mind knows, well, she's going to be raped, or you might consider it a form of prostitution. She's going to have some kind of sexual favor to stay in this car tonight, but he'd rather have her off the street. So in a way, he's prostituting her. In a way, she's aware she's prostituting herself. And then he goes on to think about all the times and all the boxcars and all the, the currency of the hobo was these sexual favors. And I mean, and also just kind of the, we kind of romanticize hobos as being they live off the grid and they don't want to be part of this man's world. And Ironweed very much, it's sympathetic. Don't get me wrong, it's very sympathetic to these characters. It definitely understands and appreciates their plight. But instead of romanticizing it the way that, we expect, from that time frame, it very much makes them out as people that, have opportunities that they don't take. They're too proud to take handouts and that sort of thing. There are some people that they will beg a handout from and be upset if they don't get it. And then there are other people that they'll just be like, no, my pride will get in the way. He works all day to earn $5 with a rag picker, a rag man, which I learned in one of these other books. It was almost like a callback, although I know the two authors didn't work together. So he earns $5, and because of his pride, instead of getting a hotel for the night or something, he gets a turkey for his family that he abandoned, you know. And they say there's a place for you. You can stay here, Francis. But he's too proud. You know, Helen, who's the female lead, and she gets her own chapters, but she's still very much the secondary character. It's not like going back and forth between them. It's primarily about Francis. But Helen, she's offered a job in a nightclub, and all she has to do is have the wherewithal to go back there and sing once in a while, and she'll get some money. And she doesn't. It's a lot about the tough choices, and the bad choices, and the pride, and I guess there is something a little bit adventurous and romantic about it, that they don't want to give it up. They don't want to be tied down. Francis actually ran away and became a hobo because he killed his newborn son by dropping him. He felt obviously the need to run away, even though his wife never told the police what happened. So he could easily at any time have gone home. It's a very, very sad book, but don't get me wrong, it's a very good book too, and it's very satirical. It has a lot to say about the sort of the religious people that are helping these people, the homeless, the hobos, if you will. It's got a lot to say about the sort of the attitudes of the religious. It's got a lot to say about substance abuse too, because the hobos are almost kind of universally alcoholics, but the religious organizations that are supposed to take care of them, they just treat the alcoholics like, don't come in here when you're drunk. Like, don't try and come and get something from me when you're drunk. Which is obviously not the way to help an alcoholic. To the point where the one character, Sandra, she decides she would just rather lie down in the street and die than, have to take help from the soup kitchen, because she would have to get sober. It's just overall great book. Definitely recommend it. Thanks for tuning in. Next time we're going to be talking about The Moviegoer by Walker Percy.